All right, Biscuit's e-collar has arrived. Isn't it cute? So just going over some basic functions, how to turn everything on and the levels, and just daily use kind of thing. So how to turn on the remote. There's a big old L button on the back-hand side. I'm going to hold that button down. That turns on the remote for you. Now to turn on the receiver, there's a little red dot on the underside of the receiver. There's also a red dot on the side of your remote. Those two things are magnets. You got to touch them together so that the receiver lights up green. Once that's green, and it'll continue to flash periodically, that lets you know that it is still on. A good way to check that is if you tap the T button on the side of the remote here, it will vibrate the entire unit. Say I'm out on a walk, I'm not sure if it potentially died on me, or maybe I just forgot to turn it on altogether. I will grab this box while it's on her, tap the T, and if I can feel it vibrate, I know that we're good to go. Okay? Now the black S button on the other side, this is going to be your most frequently used button. Essentially, this is just mimicking anytime we're using leash pressure. So I'm guiding her to place, my leash pressure turns on. I would also be tapping on that black S button, and then whatever number is currently registered on the front of the screen is just reflected in that black button. So if I see a 5, I'm going to deliver a 5 with the black stim. Now the red button is your boost function. This is more of a correction. Say you're out on a walk, you're telling her to heel, you're tapping currently on that black S button, but there's a dog passing that she starts to bark at and is ignoring this black button. That's when I would make the jump from the black to the red. It's going to add +5 to whatever you're currently at. And essentially this is just more of a corrective feature. If I'm at a 5, I can tap the red and it will go to a 10 without having to adjust this top dial at all. Now, adjusting the dial, if I need the level to go higher, I'm going to turn the dial away from me. If I need the dial, or if I need the number to go back down, I'll just bring it back down. Say I find a level that I like, I can take this dial, it itself is a button. I'm just going to push the whole thing down. You'll see the number flash for a moment, and now, say it's in my pocket or in my purse, if I'm accidentally bumping around this dial, that level is not going to change on you. Okay? To unlock it, you just do the same thing you did to lock it. Just hold it down for a couple seconds, and then it will unlock. Okay? Now let's talk about fit, because that's going to be a pretty important thing in getting this fit appropriately. Now I've got you set up with a fancy little buckle, so I'm going to size this belt side for you. I'll find out where this sits nicely on her, and then all you'll have to do to get this on and off her every day is just use this little clip. So it'll be nicely sized. Now, it will feel snug. It's most likely going to feel like the tightest collar you've ever put on a dog, but it's for good reason. We want to have good contact with the skin with these two nodes, and we don't want this to be kind of like swinging around her neck. So essentially, just whatever size I leave this on for our go-home session, just leave it that way, and then you can just get it on and off by using this nice little handy clip. Okay? Now, levels. Talking about like levels that she currently responds to. Say we're just inside working on the place command. There's really not much going on, just me and Kilo hanging out. My levels are anywhere from like a 5 to a 10, so relatively low. Keeping in mind that these e-collars go all the way up to 100, so on the scale of things, a 10 is only 10% of the entire power of this e-collar. Now, I'm always looking for the level that is just getting the dog to respond with the behavior. So I say place, I'm starting to tap on my e-collar, I'm looking for her to immediately start beelining it towards her bed. If she is ignoring me or just kind of doing the exact opposite, chances are high that level is just a little bit too low. So I'm going to go from wherever I'm at, generally up by like 3 to 4 levels at a time. I'm never going to make a big jump like 10 levels at a time, because that is a huge jump to make. Now, when we're inside, like I mentioned before, levels are anywhere from like a 5 to a 10. Now, when we get outside and there's a lot more going on, we went to a mini mall the other day, and her level was around like a 15 to an 18. And it just kind of depends on the amount of things that are happening in the environment. If there's a lot of people, a lot of dogs, a lot of distractions, the levels that work for her inside just aren't going to work. They're not going to be getting her attention. So I'm always looking for the level that works. I'm not looking, obviously for any kind of vocalizations or heavy reactions from the e-collar. I'm just looking for her to understand, oh, I've said heel and I feel that e-collar pressure. I know exactly what you're asking me to do. I'm going to come back into that position. Okay. Now, battery life on these things are pretty darn good as long as you remember to turn everything off when you're all done. So the same thing we did to turn it on, we've just got to do that in reverse. I'm going to tap the red to the red. You'll see it flash red that time. To double check, I like to do the same thing where I'll tap the T. If I don't feel it vibrating, I know for a fact that it is off. Now to turn off the remote, same thing. I just got to hold down the black L button on the back hand side and it'll turn everything off. Inside your box here is the charger. There's a little split port so you can charge both of these at the same time. There are little waterproof ports that you just pull back and plug into there, and then same thing on the underside right there. Now, these are both completely waterproof. I have tested that thoroughly with the receivers. Dogs have been completely submerged in water, and these still work just fine. I have never tried that with a remote, but theoretically they say that these are also waterproof. I don't know why you would want to do that, but good to know. Now, charging, I wouldn't leave these plugged in for a long period of time. So like I wouldn't leave them in overnight just because that tends to kill the battery. I want to plug them in, let them get charged up, and then plug them in when they're all done. They will be lit up red if they're currently charging, and then turn to bright green if they are good to go. Now, just some additional accessories in here. There are some longer contact points if you're noticing that we're having a hard time. I imagine you won't need these, or I'll figure that out for you before the session. These are just some screws to help switch out the contact points, and a little tester. You can put this on the back of the remote just to check if that LED lights up. That lets you know that you have good contact with the receiver. And this is just a lanyard. This is actually super useful to throw on the remote, but I'm going to leave this off for now just in case you don't want it. So that's basic breakdown of the e-collar. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and let me know.